Hey, what's up everyone? This is Terrence here with 1010 Studios, and today we're going to be talking about seeing sound essentially. So we here on this channel will talk about live sound, pro audio, pro video, and this is pretty much going to be for a kind of like a behind the scenes and I guess learning stage, something that we've been playing around with a little bit here since we came across it. This application is called MAP 3D, M-A-P-P 3D. This is by Meyer Sounds. So for those who want to, I guess, follow along or play with it yourself, you can go to their website to download it. It's at no cost. You just got to register, get it installed, and start working with it. So if you are new to the channel, definitely welcome. And if you've been here before, welcome back. Glad to have you. Please consider, for those who are new, to subscribe to the channel. We'll be happy to have you as part of the community. Definitely ask any questions in the comments, and we'll see how we can address those for you as best we can. So this is going to be a high level without digging too deep. I want to make it just to give you some reference to how you can design and set up your PA system for a live sound environment. So just to kind of go over what we're looking at here, so let me turn off this here to give you a little visual. So this right here, basically this whole box here is representing the room, okay? So this is, say, your event hall, ballroom, or event space of any sorts, things like that. Now this section right here is what we're going to be calling the stage, where the band is set up, things like that. And then this section right here is going to be called or considered the dance floor. Now each of these boxes here with the lines coming from it, these are your speakers for various use, and then the lines are going to indicate the direction of which they're facing. So this one, these two in the back here are behind the stage or at the back part of the stage, facing towards the front to be as basically stage wedges or just, stage sound basically. These four here in the front are wedges facing towards your singers and your musicians, things like that. And these two right here representing your front facing speakers, your main house speakers essentially, facing towards the dance floor and facing towards your event space. And then now the lines are just going to kind of represent like the center point of it. So it may not be perfectly crossing where you would think, but the angle is going to be based upon, your situation. So these could be at the side or at the back corner. So it all depends. But just as an idea of what it's going to look like from the sake of the pointing towards. And then in a few moments here, I'm going to show you what it's going to look like in regards to pointing or the actual sound coming from it. So without any further ado here, I'm going to center this here real quick, and then we'll show you what that looks like. Okay, so what I'm going to do here in just a second is I'm going to turn on what we call, well, first I'm going to do this for the house space here. So the room, when it turns purple like this or bluish like this, that's going to be, when we do the prediction of how the sound is going to look for the sake of the position of the speakers. I'm first going to do for the front speakers, the two front speakers, left and right. So now this is in regards to 4 hertz, if you can see that there. Now there are different frequencies that we can choose from, but 4 hertz is pretty much where the voices and pretty much the higher pitch sound is going to be for your ears and for your guest ears. So we're going to see how this looks and what it looks like. And as you can see over here, the louder it is, the more it's going to be towards red, and then kind of like an orange down to yellow, kind of light blue and purple, and then dark blue. So for 4 hertz, just to give you an idea, this is what it looks like, the sound just coming from the front speakers facing towards your audience. Of course, the hottest is going to be closest to it, and then it eventually kind of tapers off and gets to be the lowest. Doesn't mean you can't hear it. It's just not as loud as being within this range here, the hot zone, so to speak. Now, because these are separated, of course, you can hear it more directly here in front of each of the speakers, and then in the middle, got a little alley there, but it kind of crosses and you'll still be able to hear it pretty well. So that's just the front 2 speakers. So I'm going to choose the rear speakers here real quick to do those 2 speakers, and then we're going to check those out. And this is mainly the stage area. So in regards to, say, wedges or monitors or just basically side fields of sorts, if you want to call it that, a lot of energy is going to be coming from those corners for the band, for the musicians, for the singers, whomever, and it's still going to reach the front, but of course those front 2 speakers, which are placed right about here and right about there, will feed the room for the most part. But this will definitely put a lot of energy on the stage for the singers and musicians. So that's how that's going to look. Now for the front speakers, for like the wedges and such like that, there's a couple of them, so let me go ahead and choose them real quick. Get my mouse to play nice. Okay, so those for those 4 speakers on the front. And of course you're going to be able to change the level as need be, and this is how this is going to face the stage. So it's going to be really hot in the front there. Whoever's close to is going to get a lot of that energy, and then it spreads out towards the rear where the other musicians may be in the back here. So they'll still get a lot of that energy, provided whatever sound is not from these back speakers are not hitting them itself, voice loss. So typically and technically they're going to be hearing most of these speakers back here compared to the fronts itself, because they're going to be aimed up for the most part. And then let's see here. Now we did those. Let's do all the speakers. So I'm not going to select anything. It's going to choose all the speakers for the room and such. So let's see what that looks like. So a lot of energy in different directions. And you can see the hot zones are, of course, right in front of them. And you can see there's a little bit of a valley or a gap here for the sake of the front of the stage. If you have any, guests that are close to the stage there. And then on the sides itself, it kind of tapers off. Now before, remember, it was only a little bit of area over here covered with those front fields, but with all this energy itself, things are going to be bouncing all over the place. So when it comes down to this, these lines here itself kind of depict the center point of it. So depending upon which way they're facing, of course, that's going to affect the way those waves kind of come into play. So for example, for the left, right, and the front here, it's going to be, generally speaking, going straight down towards the back of the room or whichever direction the speakers are facing, and it spreads out according to its, angle spread. And then the others, as they come in, it'll have an effect on them. So once again, if I do, let's say, the rear speakers, if I include those, you'll see how much more of a spread is out there compared to just the front field speakers. So it adds to that overall dynamic, because this one's facing this way, and then this one's facing that way, and then these two are facing forward. And if we change the angle, of course, the wide part will change accordingly. So this is what it could look like in regards to a, setup in regards to the speakers you have set up somewhere. So whenever you're thinking about positioning your speakers and your monitors or any other kind of sound source coming out there, just know that depending upon the angle, it'll make for a different experience. And of course the hot zone is going to be on the stage, of course, with all the sound energy, and then right in front of the stage, right in front of the stage area, the dance floor, or whatever space that might be, is going to be the hottest as well. Now this application is pretty easy to work with. You just have to get a little bit used to it. So definitely if you have any ideas on great speaker placement. Now some people would put speakers say here on the side. Let me just clear this up real quick. Some people would put some speakers on the side here. Come on. To kind of like fill in the side, and then let me just turn these at the right angle. Let me see if I can do this here. Let's see, this is going to be the right angle. That is not quite it. Let's see if I can do some more. Let's see here. Is that the right one? Looks like it is. Got a little more ways to go. Okay, kind of getting there a little bit. Let's see. All right, so that's one. Let's do the other. Let's see if we can do it the right way. Nope, totally wrong. Let's do it the other way. Okay, let's give that a shot. I think that might be right. Nope, you gotta go total opposite. So red. Let's go 90. I think that should work. Yep, that works. Actually, no. Gotta go 180. Okay. Yeah, that works. All right. So let's just say if we got two side fills, basically on the same side, facing the same direction, the opposite direction, excuse me. And we got those pretty much at the side of the stage. Now, keep in mind that the box is going to represent the stage. And now let me grab it. Why not? There we go. And let's just say we make it even, right? There we go. Let's say make it pretty much even facing each other, right? So what I'm gonna do is just do those little side fills there and see how that might work. Ooh, that's gonna make it real hot on the stage. And you see how it affects the rest of the room as well. So that in itself can really be very loud if you have it too loud. Now this is at like if you had it 0 dB and you were just simply, you know, kind of maxing out the volume. Now naturally you're not going to be at 0 across the board, but you get the idea of how much energy you can have and what kind of a sound shape it can make. You know, it's pretty much, you know, hot at the beginning and then tapers off, and then it tapers off way back here. But you got the same kind of energy come from the other side if you have the same amount of, you know, lines in there or voices or instruments or level. It's going to be mirroring that. So this could be a little bit less, that could be a little bit hotter depending upon what's in there. They're not, say, playing the same amount of instruments or voices at the same levels. So take it for what it's worth. This would be the highest that it could be. Now, if you lower the overall volume, then of course this would be different. This might be more yellow compared to red at the very closest, you know, points or proximity of that speaker. Same thing with the other side, same thing with anything else. But I'm curious to see what it's going to look like with everything involved. So let me go ahead and redo this here real quick and just choose everything to see what it looks like. I'm going to recenter this. Okay, so what I'm gonna do at this time is I'm gonna see how this might affect the room here and with all speakers. And that's what it looks like. It's gonna be a real hot stage if we have that level going up too high. You can see all this red here in the very middle. It's gonna be really hot up inside of here. And let's see what the floor with the dance floor is gonna look like with this here. Now, this is gonna be the only area that's gonna show where the sound might be affected with everything here. So let's see how that looks. So not as bad, but with the room added on top of that, let's see what the room's gonna look like. And let's see here. Yeah, so that's what's gonna look like if we had the room and the wedges and the actual side fills all at the max level. Not the mixed level, but the max level. So of course you have to mix according to your room, mix according to your, your music and the audience and the everything else involved with it. So that's what we got. So if anyone has used something like this, let us know what other application you might use to see what kind of, how the sound would look based upon a visual representation like this here. And also, what you might do to make sure it's all balanced out. So until next time, stay tuned, stay blessed, and we'll catch you on the next one.